Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 4, I think, of Catchupcast, the podcast where you determine if our friendship survives.
What if we make them vote? What if we, make them in control of what our friendship is like? In which, they choose whether, what sort of interaction we have, which is what they're already doing, but, in a more direct way.
We're putting the fate of our friendship directly in the hands of listeners rather than indirectly.
Yes. Yeah.
Sure. I don't mind putting a cherished relationship in the hands of a bunch of strangers on the internet. What could possibly go wrong?
That sounds like every dating app ever invented.
Are you saying our podcast is secretly a dating app?
No. That's definitely not what that is. Nope.
Good. That would be a little weird.
It would be very weird.
You're listening to Catchupcast, the podcast where, believe it or not, we do not discuss condiments.
So, how was your week?
My week's been decent. It's pretty much been nonstop rehearsals.
What are you rehearsing for?
It's that play I mentioned last time, the one where I play a Catholic kid and there's demons and stuff.
Okay.
It's been fun. I'm finally starting to grasp the character. We did a scene that I've really been struggling with yesterday, and we did it so well that I thought we'd skipped part of it. So things are going nicely. What about you? What have you been up to?
Yeah, not much. Today not much at all. Yesterday, I had a ski race, and then the Super Bowl, or the big game, should I say? I don't think we can use Super Bowl hashtag.
It was a super big game.
Super big game. Super game. The super game. That's what we're gonna call it now. The super.
And were you
game.
happy with the outcome of the super game?
I really didn't have a horse in the race.
Valid.
Yeah, considering how it was a football game. But
well, that does make it hard to get your horse in there.
I really wanted to. They just wouldn't field him. They just didn't play him. He's like a third string quarterback. It just didn't happen. I think it'd be great. He would really just stomp over all the competition and just run the ball right into the end zone.
I'm with you, Isaac. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, a horse and human hybrid football game would be insane.
Now, would the horse be wearing all the proper equipment? Helmet, shoulder pads, all that good stuff?
Well, yes, but the humans wouldn't be.
Okay. Just to make it extra fun.
Yeah, so the humans have no protection at all whatsoever. In fact, they play in just like a minimum amount of clothing, like maybe boxers, and that's it. And the horses have armor, in fact. Actually, it's metal. Yeah, it's metal pointy armor that...
I was going to say with spikes on the armor.
Obviously.
I don't see anything wrong with this game. I think it would go very well and no one would be injured.
And the same deal is that you have to form up, line in formation, and the horse is the running back, so you have to give the ball to the horse. There's a special saddle that the ball sits on. Okay. Then the horse runs to the end zone, and all the humans try to stop it before it gets there.
Now, is it like a horse versus a team of humans, or is it like a team of humans with a horse in the team?
No, there's a horse on the team. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like all the players plus a horse?
Yeah. But the horse is carrying the ball. Right.
That's required by the rules.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. And the humans have to stop the horse, but they don't get any... They just have their bodies to stop the horse with.
I would watch this sport.
It would be a bloodbath.
I think it would be an amazing spectacle, but also very much a bloodbath, yeah.
Have you ever seen polo in your life? Have you ever watched a game of polo?
No, I've been meaning to, because at a certain park/farm where we live, they do polo over the summer, but I've never
we don't live on the farm or the park, just to clarify.
No, but it's in the same town that we inhabit for a couple months out of the year.
Fair. which could be any town in any place in the continental United States.
Exactly.
But
Except
I feel like it'd
Texas.
be really it seems like an interesting game. You know they play it in Africa or no, it's in Asia. They play it on elephants.
Do they really?
Yeah, elephant polo.
That would be amazing to watch. Except I feel kind of bad for the elephants.
I bet you they're enjoying it.
Maybe. I don't know. I just feel bad for elephants in general.
Yeah, elephants need some people to feel bad for them.
Elephants should trample everyone, but they're too nice to do that.
You ever heard the allegory of the blind man and the elephant?
Yeah, how he can't see the whole elephant, so he can't tell what it is. I mean, obviously he can't, but he only feels part of it, so each blind man thinks it's a different thing.
Yeah.
It's a good one. We talked about that in one of my classes a while ago. I don't remember what.
For what? What's the...
I have no idea. I just remember I talked about it recently.
Oh, alright. Cool.
Speaking of classes, I wanted to ask you, so you're doing ice climbing, right?
Yep, that's a class I'm getting college credit for. And
So,
paying to get credit for, as you do in college. But yeah,
as
that's
you do,
something I do.
how does, what's the process of ice climbing like? And how does it differ from, say, rock climbing?
Well, you see, you get a big thing of ice. Usually it's attached to a side of a mountain. And then you climb it. You get on top of it, actually. The goal is to go up
you have
it.
to take since ice is a shattery thing?
Eh, somewhat. You shatter bits off. So, I mean, it's really quite dangerous, actually.
Well, that's what I'm asking about. Is like how do you go about taking precautions against the super dangerous ice?
Well, you wear a helmet. You probably should wear more than that, to be honest. I wore
Probably.
goggles, like ski goggles, when I climbed,
Okay.
because bits of shattering ice would smack you in the face as they
That
come
would not
off
be fun.
of where you swing your tools. Some people didn't wear goggles, and they got shards of ice in their face. And
I see, but they probably didn't. Ha ha ha.
what?
I made a bad joke.
Oh, well. Anyway, so they got shards of ice in their face and started bleeding. But I didn't
Oh,
because I wore goggles. Um, what else? You have really sturdy, heavy boots on that have crampons attached to the bottom that are real pointy, and you kick those into the ice and you swing the ice tool into the ice and you just go up it.
huh.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Well, I mean, there's also a rope involved. You should probably have some sort of protection rope going.
That would be good.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, there's a lot more technique to that. I mean, where you swing your ice tool is really specific. You don't want to swing on like a concave section. You want to swing on a convex area. If you swing and
Right.
hit a concave, wait, which is
I don't know
which
the
now?
difference. I know
Concave
one's
is
curved outward, one's curved
inward
inward.
because it's a cave, and convex
That
is
makes sense.
outward, right?
I have
Yeah.
no idea. I've never been good at that.
Well, essentially, it's a bulge, right? It's like a
Mm-hmm.
protruding form of ice that's positive. If you're considering like the plane of the ice, it'd be positive. You don't want to hit those. You want to hit the dips, the negative spots, the like shallow depressions in the ice. Because if you hit the convex angle, it's gonna smash. And it's gonna like just crumble because there's nothing supporting it, right? It's not like
Uh-huh.
there's nothing around it. It's sort of suspended out there. But if you hit the
Right.
concave thing, divot in the ice, it's protected and there's more underneath it for it to support your axe, and it's not going to smash as easily. So that's something you really want to watch out
It's
for
safer.
when you're ice climbing.
Can you sort of get a feel for which is which?
Yeah, you start
Like,
just
just by looking?
swinging axes into things and see what sticks.
That's so amazing. I mean, terrifying, but I mean, that's so cool.
Yeah, you can do this
No
like
pun
really
intended.
crazy thing. Have you ever seen the movie shoot, what's the name of that movie? Well, I probably can't say it anyway because it's not a sponsor. So, either way, there's this crazy move where your like feet will slip out from underneath you, and then you just are falling for like a split second, but as you're falling, you just take your hand, your tool that's in your hand, and you just throw it forward in a last-ditch attempt to grab any bit of ice you can before you fall, and then you stick it, and then you're good. And then you hang there like dead hang on these
Assuming you
ice
haven't
tools.
broken your arm,
What?
right? Assuming you didn't break your arm from the impact of it.
Assuming, yeah. Also, the shock of that will most likely pull out the tool. But if you make it, it looks awesome. And then you like stick your feet again, you climb back up. Yeah, I did that a few times.
Oh my god. That's terrifying.
I mean, you're on a rope, so it's all right. Although, one of the days that we went, it was very cold. It was like 10 degrees. Yeah. It was like, well, it was actually less than 10. It was in the single digits with the wind chill. So yeah, that was exciting.
I bet it's got to be cold for it to be safe to do that, right? Because otherwise the ice would be melty.
Actually, melty ice is kind of good for ice climbing because it's really soft. It's really like plasticky. If you think about
Right.
it,
That's true.
really cold ice, like super cold ice, that's like in the single digits, like we were climbing on, is really hard and brittle. Um, so really liquidy ice is very. It's compared to a plastic. It's like very flowy, not like drippy. I mean, it is wet. It's very drippy. That is true, but it's not. It's hmm.
What I'm kind of picturing is like glass. When glass is really cold, obviously you can't move it at all.
Yeah.
But like when glass is warm enough, you can kind of bend it and play with it a little.
Yeah,
That's sort of what I'm
that would
picturing.
be a good analogy. Yeah. So really warm ice is like super sticky, but it's gets everything wet. So it can be kind of slippery and dangerous also. But yeah, it was a great time.
So it's
We
just
went out twice last week.
you get any good pictures?
I did, yeah, I'll have to send them to you and a little video of
Oh,
me
please,
climbing.
yeah, I'd
Yeah.
love to see them.
Yep. It's probably not up to your quality of filmmaking, but
I'm also shooting on like an $800 camera.
right, I'm shooting on a less than $100 camera that is in my coat pocket trying to stay warm or else the battery will die cuz it's, single digit temperatures out.
But hey, you get good photos, you get good photos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of cold and photography, uh, last Friday, it was one of the colder days here in Granville, Ohio, since you named where I live last podcast.
And I also gave out
Um,
your social security number. That was at the end of
that,
the episode. I sort of edited that in. I don't know if you really noticed, but
oh
yep.
no,
Yeah.
my life is over now. Thank you,
Pretty
Elsa.
much, yeah. Yep. And your
uh,
birthday, your legal name, your street address, your mother's
my
maiden
credit
name,
card
all that
number,
good
just
stuff.
put
Yeah.
everything on
All
there.
that's out there now, yeah.
Perfect. But anyway, it was less than 20 degrees out, which is pretty cold regardless of where you are, even though, I'm not in a tree in Vermont like you.
You said the state
But
I
we
was
had,
in. I don't think you've done that yet.
I've said it a bunch.
Have you?
I think so.
Oh.
Listeners, you'll have to check me if I'm wrong. But we had an assignment. For my film class, we had to shoot outside, and we had to practice lighting for a daytime exterior, because if you shoot outside, you don't just want to rely on the sun, because that can get kind of flat lighting or too dark shadows. So you have a light that acts like the sun sometimes, so you would bounce the light to fill in half of a face. But it was less than 20 degrees out, and there were 4 people in each group, and each person had to take one photo. But setup for each photo took probably about 20 minutes. And I think all in all, we spent about 2 hours just out without gloves because we had to operate lights and cameras and stuff. And it was horrible. I couldn't feel anything. But then we finished the assignment. We all went back to the cinema house. The cinema department has it's an old sorority house, but they converted it into an academic building. It's just a little tiny with a screening room and a classroom and a kitchen and stuff. And we got back and we all made hot cocoa, and then we looked at each other's photos and we were laughing and complimenting each other. And it was a really good time. But it took me so long to be able to move my hands again. But the photos turned out amazing, so good payoff, I guess.
Wow, that seems interesting. That seems cool.
It was a lot of fun. Uh, Harder than I thought it would be.
So, have you ever
I had
shot
to.
film cameras in really cold temperatures?
I haven't shot film cameras in really cold temperatures.
Okay. Because we had this experience when we were out on a winter expedition last December when it was like negative 35 degrees.
Oh right, you should tell the viewers, I mean the listeners, about the expedition at some point. But let
Well,
me hear
I'm
about
telling
this.
it a little bit right now. And we took out disposable cameras. I also took out my small, uh, like action camera also. Um, but anyways, so each like 3-person group had a disposable camera, and which are film, right? I mean, they're sort of old
Right.
style film.
Hmm.
Um,
Like that Kodak like throwaway type thing.
yeah, yeah. And I think you get like maybe it was 20 shots or something. Yeah, so not a lot, but we're only out for 4 days, so that's plenty. But yeah, so it was like negative 35 degrees out, and we're taking pictures with the disposable camera, and we don't really know how they turn out. I mean, you have your little viewfinder, but that doesn't really
Right.
um, that won't
Excuse me.
show you how the film develops or anything. So when we got the film developed, the pictures came back like kind of ghostly, like they were all sort of faded and really um,
Yeah.
yeah, they looked like they had been, I don't know, they had been worn or something. Like very, yeah, just a. I'm sure there's some technical film term for it, but
If I were to guess what happened, the cold probably warped the film in some way, and like messed with the chemical composition of it,
huh,
which altered the way it, because all film is it's a chemical emulsion that gets hit by light, and that light is caught on this emulsion. That's what the image becomes.
right.
So I'm gonna guess that the chemical composition, or at least the structure of the emulsion, was warped in some way, and that altered how it captured the image.
Well, because they're super, like we took them in daytime, so they should be rather bright, but
Mm-hmm.
the they look very dark, very muted, so to say. So what I think is maybe that like that emulsion is sort of liquidy, right? It's not. I mean, it's affected
Right.
by the sun, so if it's super cold, the plastics even in that temperature will like become really brittle and um, slow moving. So that will you break plastic things like eye rivets on boots or like little um, yeah, like zipper pulls will break because they're smaller plastic and they just get really brittle when it's super
Right.
that cold. So maybe that slowed down the emulsion so it didn't absorb as much light.
I yeah. I That's definitely, it has something to do with, yeah, with how the emulsion was affected.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Almost
just really
certainly.
cool that that happened. Yeah,
That is cool.
yeah,
So this expedition, going back to that,
yeah.
negative 35 degrees.
Yep.
How long were you guys out there?
We were out there for 3 days ish. Yeah,
And you
three
didn't have
days.
tents, right?
What?
You didn't have tents. You just had like tarps, right?
Yeah, it was tarps and yeah, tarps and wood stoves. Wood not wood stoves. Wood fires.
So how
That's.
big of an issue was like frostbite and stuff? I know I've heard this story before. I just want everyone else
I mean, it
to
was
hear it.
like a very big issue. I mean, people came really close to getting it. I mean, this was last. This wasn't this past winter. This was the winter of 2016, 2017.
I think 2017. Yeah.
Right. Well, no, because it was in December, so it would have been
So it
2016.
would have been 2016. Yeah.
Yeah, so in 2016. I don't know how years work, but yeah. So yeah, it was a big thing. I mean, a whole bunch of people got evacuated because you just can't. I mean, it
Right.
was put
It
on by
gets
the
it gets
school, so it
unsafe.
has some sense of organization and like safety management aspects to it. So they didn't want to like have anybody get seriously permanently hurt. So when you got to that point where like frostbite is imminent, you'd be evacuated, or if you're just too hypothermic for too long, they would get you out of there safe. But um, yeah, so about half the people made it through till the end um, of those 3 days. Yeah,
Wow.
Yep.
Is that like what the average temperature there is in the winter?
No, not really. That's a pretty extreme. I think that was actually what ended up being the coldest night of the year. Um,
Oh, good.
yeah, or of that winter, I should say. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, it was yeah, so it was extra cold that night for sure. Uh, but yes, that's not an average. I mean, it can certainly get there, and it's not unusual. But um, I think right now the temperature range for like this week is going to be probably single digits at night, and then 20s
Oh.
during the day. Yeah.
It's been sort of 20s, 30s as a high here, and then like low teens as a low. So not as cold. Uh, but it's been chilly. It's been chillier here than it was last winter.
Hmm.
This
Yeah,
time
I don't
last
think last
year,
winter was as bad.
what's the date? Today's the
It's the 5th.
it's the 5th. So February 7th last year, I spent sitting outside on the lawn in shorts doing homework.
Wow.
And I don't think that's going to happen this year. I think it's going to be much colder.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. But
It's a shame.
we are getting some snow up here. Yeah, we've gotten snow pretty much all day yesterday and most of this morning, and we're supposed to get some later in the week. So yeah, I'm excited about that. We didn't have too much snow on the ground before, so now we have at least a good foot out there, and yeah, probably getting some more.
Nice. We we've gotten like a couple inches over the past few days, which is really disappointing, especially having grown up with a lot more snow than that. But it's pretty, at least.
Right, I think people like fear a lot of snow, which is like true, but as far as like danger, like imminent danger goes, I feel like snows. I would take a snowstorm um over a hurricane or a tornado or an earthquake or all of those combined if you're in Los Angeles, I guess. Like I would just take all of those. I would, take snow over all of those.
I would. Well, the thing with snow is, if you prepare, you're fine.
Yeah, I mean,
If you wear the right clothes, if you drive carefully, if you pay attention, you're fine.
yeah. And if your house is built in a way that can support it.
Right. That is an important thing.
Yeah. So, snow, no problem for me.
Snow problem.
Snow problem.
Ha ha ha.
Sponsor right there. Snow
Sponsored by
problem.
Snow. Welcome to Snowcast, where we just make bad puns about snow.
I had a question for you that I wrote down in my handy notebook that I have in the chest pocket of my vest. I wrote it down a couple days ago. Maybe it was yesterday. I don't remember. But I'm going to pull it out.
Okay, I'm excited.
I'm going to ask you a question. Let
Okay.
me find where it is. Here. Okay. What's the difference between a pizza stromboli and a calzone?
That is a good question.
Right?
Huh. I feel like a stromboli is more sandwich-like than a calzone is.
I think I would disagree.
Well, when I think of a calzone, I think of like it's almost like a pastry, right?
Right, yeah. It's like, well, it's essentially a pizza folded in half. Or like folded in half and sealed. Like,
Which I guess is kind of what a stromboli is too.
a stromboli, yeah, exactly. But I feel like a stromboli is like a bigger thing. Like a stromboli,
Yeah,
do you cook? Wait, no. Both of which they go in raw, right? Like you don't cook the pizza and then fold it in half and seal it and make it
no, you'd put it all in and
then cook it. Yeah, same with a
put it in, which
stromboli.
gives the cheese a different consistency when it finally comes out. It's a little more like gooey.
Yeah, yeah.
That is a good question.
Right?
Is there really a difference?
I mean, I just came up with this like, off the top of my head, but I think it would be well, so, like when I think of a stromboli, I think of like it's going in the oven. It's like a big thing that is gonna feed like a lot of people. Like you don't just like make
Right.
stromboli for yourself, but you can make a
Whereas a
calzone for
calzone's a more
yourself. Pretty
personal
easy,
thing, right?
you know.
Yeah,
But I'm sure
a
it's not
calzone, I'd
just a
say, is like a 1
size
or 2
thing.
person thing. I'm sure there's like, if you get into the minutia of it, there's a difference.
You know who would get into the minutia of it,
Who?
and who we should have a guest on for this podcast at some point?
I think I know who you're talking about, and I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. I think it'd be so funny.
Are we talking about our friend from Scouts?
Yeah, I don't know if we can
I
say
think
his
that would be
name,
amazing.
but
His
I'm
name's
sure we could say
Jack.
his social security number.
Yeah, let's go for it. Do you know his social security number? Because that's a little
Yeah, I know all
worrisome.
of my friends' social security numbers off the top of my head.
You check in on that as soon as you become friends with someone. It's your go-to.
Like, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Can I have your social security number, please?
Yeah, I don't see what could possibly go wrong in
I
that
don't know
scenario.
why that's come up twice in this podcast.
And it came up in our first ever episode. We talked a lot about social security numbers, and then I made up a fake one, and you yelled at me.
Did I really? Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you probably just ruined somebody's life.
Except you know everyone's social security number, so if you want to talk about lives being ruined, there you go.
Yeah, but, yeah. I also don't
No, I
have
think-
one, so, yeah.
Everyone has one.
That's not true.
Really? Aren't you, like, given one as soon as you're born?
Well, if you're a U.S. citizen, that is.
Aren't you a U.S. citizen?
Yeah, but I burned it, like, several years ago.
Right, when you had your tear ducts removed, too, right?
Yeah, and when I became a steely, unemotionally attached robot.
Right.
Yeah.
Listeners, in middle school, Isaac convinced...
No.
Why not?
Because we don't talk about middle school stories. I feel like that's rule number 1 of this podcast.
We never sat down and made a rule list. Maybe that's something we should do.
Okay. Have you seen this thing on the internet where you can take somebody's face and from a video, and this algorithm will turn it into... you can... So essentially you take somebody's face and take a video of them from multiple angles, and then you paste that onto a video of somebody else's body, and it looks very realistic. And they're using this to create some disgusting things, to be honest. But do you think we'll ever have that, but with our voices?
Oh, I'm certain of it.
Do you think that's already a thing, though?
I would guess that it is possible to do that.
Because then you could just have a podcast with anybody and say anything on it.
Huh.
Wouldn't that be so entertaining if, like, somebody interviews, like, a new... I mean, I guess it's kind of not great because it's without their consent or their, copyright or anything, but...
And you can't actually have a conversation. 'Cause
Well...
you'd be programming what they'd say.
Well, yeah, but you could write it. You could write the conversation. That's what I'm saying. Is they're not saying it, but you are... You'd be the puppet of the entire thing.
That would be pretty cool. We could get, like, Obama on the podcast or something.
My fellow Americans. It is
Thank
imperative...
you so much for having me on your podcast. I had to stop being Obama very quickly.
Yeah, you said, like, 2 words.
President Obama, if you're listening to this, I apologize for...
Well, he's former President Obama now.
Well, don't we still call them president? Like, isn't that sort of
I think it's
title you keep
former
even if
would
you
be
don't
the
have office?
appropriate term, because then everybody would be confused.
That's fair. Former President Obama, if you're listening to the podcast, I sincerely hope you are. I'm so sorry for making your voice sound bad.
I think he's used to it by now. People doing his thing, but I bet the amount of people that mimic his voice has dropped off entirely.
That's true. It's easier to do other people's voices, other presidents, if you will.
Yep.
At least I find it easier to do other presidents' voices.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman. That didn't sound like Bill Clinton at all.
It did not.
It really didn't.
Should I
Speaking
do
of
a
people who
president
aren't
impression?
sounding like themselves, I'm feeling a little sick. So
I am
I've got
too.
a bit of a scratchy voice. So if that,
Yeah, my nose is all stuffy right
yeah, so
now,
if
and my
that comes
throat's
through,
been
we're
hurting for a
just two
couple
sick
days.
boys talking on the phone. Like, yeah,
But that's okay, because that's what friendship is.
I should probably
It's
wipe
having
down this phone
conversations.
after I talk on it, huh?
Yeah,
That'd be a courteous thing to do.
disinfect it and stuff.
I feel like I've already gotten multiple people sick.
I'm sure I have. I shared a pizza bagel with my old roommate.
Ah, pizza bagel, the vector of all disease.
You know it, but it was a good, delicious pizza bagel. So, well worth it.
But aren't those tiny? Aren't
Milkshake and a
those like
pizza bagel.
small things?
No, this was like a full-size
Oh,
bagel.
right. I'm thinking of Pizza Bagel Bites.
Yeah.
Sponsor of the
Which are a
podcast.
disgrace.
Pizza Bagel Bites.
Welcome to Pizza Bagel. Well, actually, welcome just to Pizza Cast. We've talked about pizza a lot this episode.
Wait. Oh, yeah. With the
Because
calzone
you,
pizza thing and the Pizza Bagel Bites. Man, I'm hungry. Dinner isn't until
I've,
another hour. Well,
I've been eating lunch this entire recording session, so I apologize if my chewing comes through in the podcast.
I haven't heard it at all.
It's because I'm doing it, I'm trying to get it away from the phone.
Doing it on the down low.
Yeah, you know. It's just a grilled cheese and french fries, but
Nice.
curly fries, actually. They really pulled out all the stops today for us.
Wow. There's another thing I wanted to talk about. Oh, yeah. Did we talk
Okay.
about the big game at all? We talked a little bit about it.
And then we talked about the horse version of the big game.
Oh, right. Yeah, the horse game. Yeah. Yeah.
So did you
Yeah.
watch the whole big game?
Well, no, I didn't watch a lot of it, honestly. I was cooking some buffalo wings
Ooh.
for my housemates and others who showed up to the party. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I was mostly in the kitchen for the game, and then when the crowd would erupt in a raucous of profanity, I would walk into the common room and see what was on the TV, and you know pretty much have very little reaction to it, and then go back to cooking the wings. Yeah.
Perfect. I really didn't keep tabs on it much at all. I'd like Google the score every once in a while.
It was a
I had
pretty tight
team that
game for a lot of it, which
that's
made
right.
it
And then
very
at
exciting.
the end,
But
the Eagles pulled ahead, obviously, or I don't know if we can name the teams.
We probably can't. But what we can do is we can make an analogy for them.
All right, so the flying, screaming things.
Yep. And
I was happy that.
What
and
even
the,
is the nationalists?
Why don't we go from the British perspective and call them the usurpers?
Usurpers? Oh, like they're rebelling against the Commonwealth. SNL has a bit on it, and it's pretty funny.
I saw that. That was
essentially
really
taking the
well
same
done.
bit. Yeah.
But I was happy with the outcome. I don't follow the big game or the big sport very much at all.
Aren't we calling
But
it the super game?
I don't follow the super game much at all. But I was getting kind of sick of just hearing about the usurpers all the time. And Sir Thomas Brady, as they called him on SNL.
Sir Thomas. Yeah.
Not a huge fan of that guy personally.
No.
But I know next to nothing about sports, so that's just me jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah. Yeah, actually they did bring out the whole bandwagon. Did you see the bandwagon at the halftime show?
No, I didn't watch the halftime show. I'm not a big JT fan.
To be honest, it was fantastic. I thought it was really great. It was awesome.
How was the hologram of a certain deceased musician?
He's dead, so we can probably talk about him all we want, yeah.
So how was Prince's hologram? Was it cool?
He was great, yeah. I thought that was really a really awesome tribute, yeah. So if we can talk about dead people because their copyrights have lapsed, that opens up a whole new venue for this podcast.
Yeah. Branch off from Catchupcast and go into Dead Person Cast?
No, it's just copyright lapse cast, where we talk about the most recent thing to copyright lapse.
I'll start tracking that on the internet.
That's a thing, though.
Copyrights expire.
Like you can
it absolutely is a thing.
Because people will snatch up the copyright to something that isn't. Like lawyers will forget and be like, "Oh, copyright lapse last Tuesday." Somebody will be like, "Gotcha! Now you pay me the money."
That happened with Google a while ago.
Did it really?
Yeah, I guess they missed the copyright on the domain ended, and someone bought it and sold it back to them for a ridiculous amount of money.
Well, yeah.
But they thanked him because they hadn't noticed until he bought it.
Well, I mean, it could have been worse, right? Somebody could have
It
bought
could have
it
been
and
way
then,
worse.
you know, been bad about it and not given it back,
Could have changed
which I
the
think
whole
would have been
nature of it.
hilarious.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
That guy
But
would have
then we would have had
lived
to.
down in history as the guy who stole Google.
I want to write a short story called "The Guy Who Stole Google." I think that's my calling.
I think we just did. I think that's it right there.
We're creating lots of stuff today. New games, new stories.
Yeah, we're very productive.
That's what Catchupcast is all about.
How productive have you been today besides this podcast?
I went to class. I wrote a thank you note that I've been putting off for like a month.
Nice.
So I had to like thank people for my scholarship, and I just haven't had a chance till now.
Ah, I see.
I had a theater lab.
A theater
That was fairly
lab?
productive. Yeah, we practiced like elements of theater, and we did some drawing in this one.
Huh.
But that's about it in terms of how productive I've been. What about you?
I've been rather productive, I feel like. This morning I had a little bit of class. It was actually the last class of ice climbing. We were inside in a classroom reflecting on our experience, talking about what we liked about the class, what we didn't. I wrote a little self-reflective paper on it later, or actually earlier that morning. Yeah, and then this afternoon I haven't been doing a whole lot. I was going to go out for a ski, but um, decided to do this podcast. And then,
I'm honored.
yeah. Mostly because I'm just wicked tired from this weekend. And yeah, so I'll probably ski tomorrow.
I should do skiing sometime. I'm super tired too. I've had rehearsal pretty much every night, and it's just like I don't know if it's that or the fact that I'm sick or a combination of everything. I
Yeah.
just have no energy.
When you're sick, you just don't got the same energy.
I've been trying to take like Dayquil or uh, a fun cold drug that I will not say the name
Don't say that.
of.
Don't call it a fun cold drug.
I've been taking medicine. How about that?
Is it prescribed by your doctor?
That's over the counter.
Oh. Do we have to read out
Technically
like
from off the shelf.
the fast side effects for it?
I mean, I could go grab it. It's in my closet.
No, it's okay.
And I've been drinking lots of tea, so I'm hoping that a combination of those things will at least sort of propel me through the next couple of days.
Yeah, probably. That'll do it. Yeah. I feel like colleges are just petri dishes of bacteria.
Well, you got a bunch of people living in close quarters, not sleeping enough, not getting the rest that they need. It makes sense that sickness would run rampant.
Yeah. We should just I don't know. How about everybody gets sick like you force everybody to get sick in the first semester or like in the first week of the semester. And then later on everybody's immune system is just great. And we've all shared all the germs and we're all good. And then there you go.
Or you could just get vaccinated.
You could, yeah. I feel like that's a good idea. But some of these you just can't get vaccinated for. I mean, obviously, yeah, go, get the good ones that are probably mandatory wherever you're going to school, and then, yeah, but I don't know, a flu shot's only effective 40% of the time, and I don't know, you can't get a vaccine for everything nowadays, right? I mean,
Someday, hopefully.
yeah. I guess. What's gonna happen when they defeat all disease, huh?
Who knows? Did you hear that they're worried that old diseases might be coming back?
Yeah, there's one.
Because they're stuff that could be frozen in the ice caps and stuff.
Yeah, I was
Because
just
they're
about to
melting
say
now,
that there's
they're
some
starting to get
bodies
released.
up in Svalbard, Norway, I think, that are flu plague victims from the early part of the 19th century, and they're Man, if these bodies ever get out, they're gonna kill a lot of people because it's like a
Yeah,
strain
because
that
none of us
hasn't.
would have been immune to it because we've never been exposed to it.
Yeah, I can talk about this show because it's not on anymore. I'm sure the copyright hasn't passed on it, but we're sponsored by them anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Have you seen the show Futurama, where Fry has the
I
common
have seen
cold
episodes,
and it's like a deadly thing to new people because it's
which I guess that makes sense
a
because it
thousand
wouldn't
years
have.
in the future.
That's not like just that the idea of that is nuts, but it's true.
Yeah,
It's
it's really not too
science.
far off. Yeah, we're all gonna die for sure.
I mean, as long as you make peace with that, I guess that's good.
I mean, we are all gonna die.
This is true, listeners. If you didn't know that, now you know. We are
Yeah,
all
spoiler
going to
alert.
die.
The human race, everybody dies. Yeah, I mean, eventually, it's just bound to happen.
Right. Hopefully not super soon. Although who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
The doomsday clock is now only 2 minutes from midnight.
Right? Isn't that crazy? They moved that
Well, it's
forward.
and they moved it 30 seconds forward last year too.
When
It's all
did
the
they
stuff
move
with
it
like
back? Like when we I don't
it's
know, feed
it's
everybody.
we're never gonna feed everybody.
Well, yeah, because we got seven, almost 8 billion of us now. But anyways,
I think right now it's because of the nuclear proliferation that's going
I
on.
see. I see.
That's because like tensions are high between certain nations that have nukes, and so that's the worry.
Ah, that
It's
is
it's,
true.
it's spooky,
Um, yeah,
but I try not to think about it. I feel like I've got so much else to worry about.
yeah. I really don't think it's worth worrying about anything like that or the end of the world. It's just I got too many other. I got to worry about like where the other sock that matches that one is. Like,
Right? Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's probably under my bed.
As
Probably under the
what time
bed.
should check there then?
Yeah,
We have hit the 40-minute mark in this episode.
we have. Isn't that impressive? We should probably quit while we're ahead.
Like the whole podcast or this episode?
No, just this episode. I mean, the podcast too. I feel like we're solidly good on not having put a single episode out. So, we're.
On the 4 episodes we have now, that's it. That's Catchupcast.
I mean, yeah. It seems like they're only getting better from this point. So might as well. I mean, same with the human race too, right? Like we're the top of the food chain right now. Why don't we just we got it? We're good. We came here. We conquered. Now we're just gonna go home and become trilobites again in the squandering ocean filth of our own pollution.
I would so be down for that. I'm not even kidding. That sounds a lot better sometimes than like the human life of having responsibilities and whatnot.
Yeah, sometimes I think about living life as an animal. As like an animal
I mean,
other than a human. I mean,
you live in a tree already. You're halfway there.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
that's a little true. But anyways, yeah, this one's at over 40 minutes. So I think yeah, we should quit while we're ahead. Maybe we'll do another one today. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it'll be
We'll have to see.
40 years until we do the next one.
I really hope it's not.
Yeah, we'll probably be
We'll
dead.
be like 60 at that point, or dead
I mean, the human race will probably be over.
within 40 years. That's your projection.
I think so.
Welcome to Optimism Cast, everyone.
Welcome to fatalism, where we just believe everything's gonna end real soon.
Well, if we're gonna wrap up this episode, there's one more thing I want to do. I added this to the end of the last episode, and I didn't tell you about it.
Oh, what?
So this
Are
will be
we
a
reading
surprise for
social
you.
security numbers?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, this is not Social Security Cast. I've started recommending a film at the end of every episode, starting with the last episode.
Okay. When
So-
did this turn
so
into
the
film recognition cast?
It's just a little thing I added. It's short,
Okay.
but I want to recommend the film Loving Vincent for this week.
All right.
Have you heard of it?
I have not.
It's an animated film. It's actually nominated for Best Animated Picture, but Coco's going to win that. But it's about Vincent van Gogh, and it's entirely oil painted. Each frame is a different oil painting,
Wow.
and
A
it's
lot of oil.
amazing. I saw it in October, I think I saw it, but I highly recommend it. It's beautiful. It's amazing. So I guess that's the episode.
Yeah, I guess so. That'll do it.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. We will see you next week.
Yeah, you better listen or else we won't make another episode.
That's right. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.